So thank you, first of all, Tamo, for accepting our invite. And today, we are going to focus more on remembering and paying our tribute to your father. I think like I cannot even take his name, but for all our viewers, Ningthoukhongjam Tombi Singh. So that is who we are going to, pay our tribute and remember today. And I would love to hear from you more on, how you remember your father as a son, from a son's perspective. And of course, like I have a lot of notes I have made where I would, want to know more about. So with that, I want to start, and I want to start the interview by sharing his book. So this is the book I had ordered long back, actually in 2014, when I really wanted to read about Khambathoibi. And I looked in Amazon, and it was very difficult to find books about Manipur in English. And I was particularly looking for a book in English. And then I found your father's book. And see, like it is very old. You can see that it's very old. And I got it as a used book. And it was shipped somewhere, from, I think from UK. And it's like a little bit torn. And but, that's how I read his first book. But I came to know about him from my father. So I think on behalf of many people from Manipur, so the story is, I think maybe the generation now may not understand, but in our generation, to come out of Manipur, many people are financially poor, and we did not even think about staying in a hotel. So when your father was MP in New Delhi, many of the students who came from Manipur would directly go to his quarter. And that's how I get to know about his story from my own father, because my father took my sister, this was in the late 80s, for admission for her. And I was so amazed to hear the story of how an MP had, provided places for people from Manipur. And I heard from my father that so many people were there, and everybody is like, sleeping over there, and so many were there. And so to think about it, like at that time, I was very inspired to hear about that story. And I think on behalf of many people who would have stayed there, I'm so grateful to hear such an inspiring story. So with that, I wanted to start with my memories. And unfortunately, I didn't get to meet him. But I want to hand it over to you, and to start with, if you can start a little bit on your memory about him from your childhood.
Thank you, Monica. This is a very wonderful experience. I would say, my father was quite different, because when I interacted with him, it was mostly with a crowd. Because at our residence in the morning, we had to prepare tea in huge teapots, because there were lots of visitors, whether it's residents at Uripok, Imphal, or in New Delhi. So it was quite an experience, and lots of people used to come. It was people from different backgrounds, arts, literature, politics. I mean, everybody was almost there. So every day, we used to learn new things, because lots of people come, they narrate stories, interesting stories. That is how our life started. And basically, you'll be quite surprised that when father decided not to contest the election, we were celebrating, because 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 we were very extremely tired. Sometimes we joked that of taking out tea to all the people who come. And in fact, during as you said, in Delhi, during our examination times also, people used to come even at midnight, and people used to call from the railway station, even from the airport, that
Yes.
they have landed. Please pick us up from the airport. You see, Palam airport is so far, and at that time I was in school, and father was in Imphal or somewhere else. It was not possible for me to pick up because I was in school, to pick up from a railway station at midnight, because I was alone at that time. We faced several problems, uh, and the other issue is, we used to open the door to everybody. My father said everybody should come, they can stay, and sometimes we face problems from the Delhi police and from the Lok Sabha secretariat, because sometimes I think it is mandatory to take permission from the speaker if you want someone to stay at your place, because this is a security zone area, because many VIPs are staying there. And father used to avoid those letters and said, these people are coming for medical treatment, because for medical treatment in those times, it was all India medical sciences. And all treatments, if you go for treatment, they will say, come after 1 month. So if they stay in the hotel for 1 month, it will be terrible.
Yes.
So people used to stay more than 1 year, 2 years at our residence.
Oh,
So it
wow.
was a wonderful experience. And I still remember, I think it was your father, he came with your sister, Miranda. I still remember those days because your sister got admission in Miranda College. It was a wonderful experience. And it gives you happiness also, that you are able to help people also. And some other problem is, for example, when so many people come, especially in winter, that's a problem, because you don't have enough clothes to keep you warm. That's just the basic problem. People normally come to Delhi without warm clothes in winter. So it
Yes.
was a problem. Yes, even in summer also, because it was so hot. In Imphal, the weather is you can go without fan in Imphal. But in Delhi, where the temperature reached 40 degree, 50 degree, people were terrified. So it was a wonderful experience, and I think God gave us the opportunity, and Father gave us the opportunity to interact with so many people, to know people, understand their lives. That is a good thing, I think.
No, and he was in Delhi, right? He has been elected for 4 terms, which like
Yes.
really stable for a politician. Because now when I look at politician, like it's very rare to find, like such a very stable, long term. So that was like way back in 1971, and then, till 1991. And I'm sure like during that time, like when I think about it, how selfless he was. And I'm sure like, uh, with all your siblings and family, like you guys also, your privacy must be invaded, but still like, he thought about the people and opened the door. And I was very amazed with that gesture. Okay, so what about like, some of your, I guess, more personal memory about him um, way back before he started his political career? Maybe
Oh,
when
yes.
you were when you were a little smaller.
Uh, in fact, about his childhood days and all, and during his struggling days, I was not born. So, what I will tell you what I heard. My
Hmm.
grandfather died quite when my father was, I think, just 4 or 5. There are 4 siblings, 2 brothers and 2 sisters, and so the elder brother of my father, he was just around 6 or 7 years. And so he took the decision, my uncle took the decision that since I am the senior one in the family, I will not go to school, and I will dedicate my life for my younger brother and 2 other sisters. I will give you whatever my father gave. And he stopped going to school from, his name is Ningthoukhongjam. He didn't go to school. Just imagine
Oh,
6, 7 years, uh, yeah, a boy taking that decision. And my father said that my uncle, he always provided all the school fees, everything, till he completed his MA. And what my uncle did was he used to do manual jobs, job construction, and then he used to lay bricks and build houses, all the manual works. And he managed to mold my father till he completed his MA. And
Wow.
so it was just like he was just like a father figure to my father. So it was that kind of dedication that the person my uncle gave my father, that my father thought that it will not be my life will be futile, because my brother has given everything away for himself. He has sacrificed himself for our family. So I should do something which is good for the society, and to be honest and truthful. That is what my uncle taught to my father. So I think from after his completing his MA, he became a teacher. It was in philosophy in Imphal College, but he was more leaning towards politics, because during those days, freedom movement was going on. And freedom movement was good. The International Congress, then the movement of Uripok in Manipur, and he was leaning towards those ideologies. The communist movement was very strong in Manipur. As a socialist movement was going on, he was leaning towards that movement. But at that time, as he joined Imphal College, he became a member of the International Congress, and so he had to retire, because he had to resign, because a government employee cannot join a political party. My uncle was a little disappointed. He thought that my younger brother has got a job now. The day he got a job, he has decided to resign, and he so but very luckily, you'll be surprised that the first election was in 1967 that he won. It was at those times there were only 40 constituencies. Uripok and Thangmaiban was one constituency. So he won with a landslide victory. And at those days, father said that they could not even afford a 2-day meals. But at those days, he was so popular and people loved him so much, and through his work, through his dedication, that people supported him. But I would like to add one more issue, is that Hizam Irabod started the literary newspaper movement in Manipur. Father thought that in 1961 he started Manipur Times. It is the English newspaper. So at a very young age, he had started advocating works in English, so that people from outside can know what is Manipur. And because if you write in Manipuri, people will not understand Manipur. So he started in 1961, and in 1980, after the emergency, he started Manipur Mail, English Daily. This is still published today in his memory. And that is how he started his life, both in politics and as a journalist.
So he really, like from his early age, he had that big vision about visibility about Manipur in the national level.
Yes, yes. Monica, I would say that at those times, the movement was a statehood, because Manipur was not even a state. Manipur was an Asiatic power, such a one territory. It was in Myanmar till Yunnan province in China, then parts of Nagaland, Mizoram. It was a huge area, and it is quite disturbing to know that it didn't even get statehood at those steps. So it was a huge movement. And so I still remember during 1971, when he won the first election for the first time, the movement was for statehood, and luckily Manipur got statehood the very next year in 1972. And I still remember one meeting with father told us that he had a meeting with the then Prime Minister Lal Bahadur Shastri, and then prior to that with Mr. Nehru, the then Prime Minister. And he always insisted, the Congress team always insisted on two issues. They said they should give us statehood, and they should recognize our language, that is Manipuri, in the as a scheduled language, that it should be included in the 8th schedule. And the book which uses sword as Kambat Toibi, I will narrate a very interesting story, because at those times in India, in New Delhi, people didn't know anything about our Mongoloid culture, about Manipuri literature. They didn't know anything. And at those times, it was very hard to convince people that that Manipuri should be included in a schedule. So when he started interacting with the central leaders, they started inquiring about the books. And at those days, there was no book in English. So I think it was he wrote a book, Manipur, a study. It was drafted, written, and printed, I think, within 2 weeks. Because the Manipur study, it was distributed to the MPs. It was given to the then Prime Minister Indira Gandhi, so that they can know about Manipur. I think it was one of the first book written about Manipur study, and it was later redefined, and he wrote another book, Manipur and its mainstream. This is widely discussed, and this is there is also, it is out of publication now, and we hope with the blessings from God and everybody, we may be able to reproduce it. And after that, Khambat was because he tried to convince people that we have a classical literature form, and for example, Sanskrit has it, Tamil has it, other languages has it, Manipuri has it, and so he said, just see, Khambat, this is just a small story out of 7 stories. It is Moirang Kangleron. It is basically a translation, and Hizam Angahal had written a very book, and it was not possible to translate it within a very short period of time. So at those times, we didn't have anything to record. What basically we had was tape recorders. What I'm discussing is about in the 1960s and 70s. So I think father requested all the Khongjam Parba artists to come to Delhi and Imphal, and he listened to all the different perspectives, to all the stories for days, for years, and it was and then he narrated the story to 2 stenographers. One was from Delhi, and one was from Manipur, and they just typed it, and how was Khambat Thoibi was published, and it was distributed to the MPs, and showed that this is one of our classical story. Just see, and that's why Manipuri should be included in the Ed schedule. At those times, politicians were a little different, I think, because they were thinking about the future. About about our economy, about our society, about everything. For example, if you people now normally say that the people didn't speak much in parliament, but I was quite surprised that even as your sister is working in parliament, she informed me how we can assess the data, and I was quite surprised that father was among the best speakers in parliament. It was in 1971. He used to participate in maximum number of debates, and all those debates are now available in website. Everybody can access it in Sunset website. And so I think people will be happy to know that our forefathers did so much for us. Our ancestors did so much for us. They sacrificed their lives. And the other aspect which we learn is diversify. Diversify works because it was not concentrated in politics only. Politics, sports, culture, literature, it was quite diversified. And people can also come and meet him anytime, any day. And I think they was quite helpful, and people were leaders were approachable at those days also, because uh, there was not much security problem. People can come and meet you at any time of. It was a different life, I would say, and different. It was a different age of learning and enlightenment, I would say.
Wow. So there are a lot of things you have shared. So let me ask you about the books, right? So the only book, and I know that when I did the research that he had written like other English book, and right now you had shared that it is out of publication. And that's what I always wondered, and that's one of the things I would love, for the people of Manipur to, I guess, for all of us to improve, to have the republication of content in English, because now particularly I think this time because of the conflict, a lot of people wanted to know about Manipur, and I felt that there was lack of like reference wherein we can look into a book and see that. So even this book, Khamba and Thoibi, now I don't see this in Amazon, right? It's really difficult to get it. So what is stopping like from the publication? Like, is it the legal rights or?
No. We are planning to reprint especially two books, Khamba Thoibi and Manipur and the Mainstream. That is the other book.
Yes.
And Manipur and the Mainstream was so popular because it was the first book, and I would say because it gave for the first time the list of Manipur kings. For example, people at those times in the 1960s, 70s didn't know that our kingdom started in 33 AD. Nongdala and Pakangba, then his son Khuyal Tompong. Then so in the Manipur and the Mainstream, it gave for the first time it gave a complete list of all the kings Manipur history. And then it gave about the Bhagya Chandra, the arrival of Hinduism, then pre-Hindu culture. All those in a very short term, in a very short period of time, he wanted to do that, and it is in huge demand, and we are still planning to print that book. The copyright is still in our hands. It is not a problem. And to both books, we hope with the blessing of God, and everybody wants to see both the books in Amazon or in all the book festivals also. We'll surely do that within a very short period of time. We are planning, and we have even started typing it. We are editing it, and even there was some grammatical errors in Khamba and Thoibi. Father had pointed it out because it was not written. People have to understand that it was what books were not written. It was narrated.
Yes.
It was
No, but
narrated
it was
to
so
two
interesting
typists.
to hear, right? Because I really, if you didn't tell us this story, I didn't know about all this, right? Like it was more like a strategic move for him so that the people in center would know more about Manipur, and it was created like in a very, fast-paced manner. That is amazing. So were you there when he recorded and he invited sorry.
Yes. I was very young because I was very small. I still remember because both the typists they used to come in. They used to come in a scooter. And I still remember the address. It is 108 South Avenue, just next to Rashtrapati Bhavan. And at those days, it was just like a Mercedes scooters. People didn't have much. It was an age of ambassadors like and all, Bajaj. And whenever he used to come, the typist, I used to go down and he had to take me for a ride round. So it was a privilege to ride, behind a scooter. It was a different age, I still remember. And one was from Delhi. So he had problems learning the words. For example, Moirang, then Thoibi, Khamba Thoibi, then the Manipuri words. But later on, he got accustomed to it. But one of the typists, he was so involved in the story that one day he was not able to type because he said he was shocked. All the stories, Khamba Thoibi, how there was assassination attempt on the life of Khamba, how Thoibi had to go away all the way to Tamil. He was so involved in the story that he said he was not able to type properly. So he said, I will take leave for a few days because this story is so moving. I have never heard such a story. And I still remember those days. And I hope the future generation and for example, when I say 7 stories, I first said 7 stories. It is a reincarnation of 7 stories. Khamba Thoibi. This is Bangli role. The other 6 stories are yet to be translated into English. And I hope someone picks it up and all are classics, all are wonderful. And if you look at this Moirang Kangleron, they happen at different centuries. The first one I heard, some experts say it was before Christ, before the birth of Christ. That is Henju, and that it is yet to be completely translated to English. The second incarnation, it took place about 200 years later. So when we read about Khambat Thoibi, which the book which you were holding, it shows the stories of Manipur in around 13, 14, 12 to 14th century Manipur. It happened around 12th to 14th century. And so we can understand the life of people living in Manipur in 12th century, 13th century. So this Moirang Kangleron tells the stories of Manipur from 2nd century BC to till 13th, 14th century BC. Those are classics. I think, I don't know how our ancestors managed to write such wonderful books. It is just amazing. And it was firstly oral transmission. Firstly, we have a storytelling culture in Manipur, Khongjam Parba, and later it was written. Now, luckily, we have the Manipuri works in all the 7 languages. I hope someone good in English, someone who can do justice to Manipur. I hope they translate the other 6 stories. It will be a wonderful, and it will be a wonderful addition to English literature, and improve our. It will show how rich our culture also.
Yes, definitely.
To the rest of the world, I think.
And it is, unfortunately, my introduction to Manipuri literature came very late. When I started working for Finding the Voices and Library of Manipur, and I did not have any of this much knowledge about this when I was a student, right? Because it was never in our curriculum. So that is very unfortunate. And I'm sure, people will come out, and hopefully, the government also will take more initiative so that there will be translation, and we will have all this awesome literature translated and archived for our future generation. So another...
I would just add one more.
Yes, please go ahead.
This is little, I would debate a little, and I would say that this is not only about literature. We must be having more than 1,000 ancient texts, 1,000 to 2,000 ancient texts in Manipur. They are all written in archaic Manipuri, and you will be surprised that we have works on medicine, astrology, then science, history, and most of the books were written in color. They were using organic. I saw the beautiful picture behind you. You must be using modern painting equipments, but at those times, people were using organic colors, and those books are still in book. We can still access it, and even if you wash it, the color doesn't fade. So when you come to Manipur, you can see some of the puyas. It is still there, and the way for example, we have Chingjai roads. For example, Langol Hills, and we have the Kobru Hills, Tangjing Hills. We have different books on that. What kind of plant is grown there, what kind of medicinal plant. Everything is documented, everything is written, and we don't know how advanced our ancestors were, our forefathers were. And the only problem is we are not able to even to set it, even to keep it, even to maintain the works which our forefathers did, which our ancestors did. And I think we have done great injustice to our forefathers who did so much for us in every aspect: culture, history, geography. I don't know if we are really their descendants, because the way they work so hard and the way we are living our life today is so different. I hope, and because they know how to govern the people, and that is how the translation started. And only the Chaitharol Kumbaba has been translated to English. Other works, we have Ningthaukhongjam Lambuba, we have lots. We have Loyumba Siland. We had our own constitution during the period of Loyumba. All those little bit of translation has been done, but we have thousands of books which have to be translated, and those are all wonderful works. Unfortunately, we have forgotten the language, we have forgotten the script. I hope, through this channel and through works you are doing, people will be encouraged to pick up those works which we are not able to do, and the future generation will be inspired to do such work through your channel and through the works you are doing. Thank you.
No, absolutely. And you're right. It is amazing that we are doing injustice to our forefathers and ancestors. The amount of gift, they have left for us, right? We don't even know it ourselves. I'm so ashamed to say I'm learning now. For me, it's like learning ABCs, right? So I'm learning about Manipur now, and there are still so many books, like you said, which we don't even know, like which book is there, like what is the content. Like my mother has been doing an awesome job, and she has been so dedicated in reading and telling us, and because we don't even know how to read, right? And so we have like multiple things we need to do. We need to learn about it, listen to it, because we don't know how to read. Then we have the translation project. So you're right, like there are a lot of things I think we need to focus on, so that we can archive like what our forefathers and ancestors have done. So another thing before I forget, in this book, not only the text, right? I also really appreciated, your father, including the drawings and pictures relevant to the story, and that helped in understanding even like the dress or the scenery. And do you have any additional detail on how the thought about adding this came about?
In fact, we still have the, I think we still have the original pictures. And in fact, every picture, it was reproduced, it was printed after doing lots of research. And it was just not painted like that. For example, in one of the pictures, you will find a picture of Thoibi giving kwa or pan to
Yes.
Khamba.
Yes,
And,
this one.
And for that also, yes, and for that, yes, and it had to be discussed a lot, because my father did special research on if kwa or pan was available in the 13th century. I mean, that kind of level of work was given, and for example, there's a place called Kwatha. It is near More. And that is a 15th century Meitei civilization. Manipuri, still Manipuri Meiteis are there. It is a 15th century Manipuri civilization. The place is Kwatha. It is near More. And so that means in the 15th century, it was there. And then he had to do research, and he requested so many artists to paint it, and even the selection process was also quite intense. I mean, it was not quite random that he asked somebody to do it. Everything was in detail. Even the clothes they were wearing, because you must have seen that they were not wearing full dresses. It was a half. So even great detailing was done to that, and I think the artist has done justice to demands of the people, and I think it was a wonderful job, and I think there was a competition also. I think, I mean, he requested some of the painters at those times to paint it, and some of the painters, he had a big circle of painters, a literary society. They all helped him out, and they said this will be the best pictures, and let us insert it also. I think at those times, color printing was little expensive, and it was not possible at those times. I hope in the new ages, within a few, not few days, in very soon, let's hope that we'll be able to reproduce a good production of that Khamba Thobi. And Khamba Thobi also, in fact, I still remember, if we can make a movie also, even a serial also,
yes,
it will be quite wonderful. I mean, because it will be quite expensive, but I think we can manage to do the landscape. We still have the Loktag, and people will be able to understand our lifestyle, because in the book we see that there was competition, marathon running, then gathering for the best flowers.
Flowers,
Then,
yes, I love that
yes,
chapter about that competition. Yeah, it was
then,
very
then,
interesting.
then dance competition. I mean, it was a life of the 13th, 12th century. It was quite wonderful. And I think the new generation, since they don't have time to read, at least they will watch movies also. I think if we can make a beautiful TV serial, even if the government can also finance it, it will be a little expensive, but I think the government can manage. So that's why I think we need a proactive government which understands the scenario, which understands the value. I think it will be helpful.
Yes, definitely, because I think more than anything, because some of this knowledge has been lost because it was never, I guess, a part of our curriculum, right? So many of the people, because of the conflict, have studied outside and never got an opportunity to learn about it, and they cannot even read about it. So absolutely. So one more question, your father, what did you call your father, Baba or Pabung?
Angton. The second one, Pabung Hal is, we call him Auhan, because Pabung Han, we shorten it to Auhan. For my father, Pabung Ton, so we shorten it to Angton. So everybody used to call him as Angton. His grandchildren, all our relatives, they all refer to him as Angton.
Okay, got it. So, like, he did a lot of project, right? And we are at 43 minutes. And I want to be mindful of your time. And I don't know if we can talk for 1.5 hours today, or you...
No problem.
Okay.
No problem.
Okay. So, he has done so much of work. When I was doing my research about your father, I was so amazed, like, at his work, right? At not only the cultural and literature aspect, but I also heard, which was something new for me, that he had a lot of influence in the North Sankirtan, which originally was sung in Bengali, yes, or Sanskrit. Bengali. And I heard that he was very influential in making it to be sung in Maitelon, right? And then in some of the ritual, if it was in Bengali or Sanskrit, it seems he used to be a little irritated and he would walk out. Is that correct?
In fact, at those times, our rituals, it was mostly in Bengali. And also, some problem is people were not able to say it properly. The proper Sanskrit words, it was so mutated that what they said and what the real words, the real words were missing. And at those times, he started the literary movement where he said that we should, if we are Hindus, at those times people were mostly Hindus, said that we should be able to pray in our own language. What's the basic problem? And if our lords only listen to other languages, then what's the meaning of our language? It is a great disrespect to our mother tongue. And so at that time, there were two options, he said. One was to enter it and to revolutionize it. And the other was to start a new movement. Starting a new movement was easy, but entering it and revolutionizing it, changing it was quite different, because at those times they call it Brahma Sabha, then all the Brahmins sitting, then all the senior sittings, they were quite adamant that they should still follow the old traditional things. And what happened was, at those times, Oja Kulapi, he was a wonderful singer at those times. He to start writing in Manipuri. So at those times, my father was still very young. And so at those times, most of the singers didn't have much time, he said, because they had to go for Shraddha, marriage ceremonies. They had to sing for the whole day, so they didn't have times. So the only time which they had was during bathing time. They used to bat in the open at those times. There was no bathroom at those times. So he used to go during the bathing time. He used to sit beside, and he used to persist the Oja to write in Manipuri. and said during those times he used to say words in Manipuri. He used to note it down. Some of the students, they also note it down, and the basic literature of Manipuri literature, all the singings, it started slowly, and then, for example, we have for some of the functions, he started saying that if it is not sung in Manipuri, I will not attend it. So he started that moment. It was quite successful, and we still follow it. Most of the people, we still follow it if it is not sung. But we have no problem with Sanskrit, because we do not have any problem with Sanskrit, because some of the prayers are in, some of the mantras are. So Father says we have no problem. But the only problem is the song were written not by experts, by some of the people who used to just note it down without any religious meaning. It was just somebody just wrote it. It was not written by a poet. So it is not good for rituals also. So so he had to convince all the leaders all those time, all the senior citizens, all the ozas, and it took years. I mean, it is a campaign of 30, 40 years. I mean, it is very, very slow, and it was very hard to convince all the ozas, because they had dedicated their life also. And I think luckily now people sing in Manipuri, people sing in, people understand the language they are singing. People laugh more, people cry more by listening to it. Otherwise, the most of the songs which people used to sing earlier, they were neither Bengalis or neither Sanskrit. Those were different languages. It is we cannot understand it. We simply don't know what kind of language that is. That is basically a movement he started. I think it is quite successful, thanks to him and other ozas like Oja Gulapi. Thank you.
No, that's very interesting, because I remember when I grew up, I think many people, they're like bored, right? When you go in the ritual, because you are not even understanding what is happening. They'll come and speak, and that's why actually this form of art, like I know I have seen it in ritual, and then I know that before I left Manipur, that transition had happened, like more, like adopted, like to be in Manipuri by many rituals. But I didn't know the story about like how, your father was very instrumental in even like writing the, I guess, translation, right, in Manipuri, like, and
Yes,
telling
yes.
the story that there was no time. So he used to go and pester even when they are taking a bath, and, during that time they are writing. So that's very interesting. So tell me one thing, like, I just wanted to, I think, kind of show the focus, right? All these projects which your father did, right? Like the Khamba Thoibi, or, the songs. So that is like a lot of his time, but I'm sure that like financially also he is, uh, like for any project you need finance, right? So did he like do it from his own money, or like did somebody fund it, like, or the government funded it, or?
Just before coming to it, I just remember a story. We have this Khongjam Day celebrations in Manipur, 23rd April with 1891, in commemoration of the 23rd, 25th April, 1891. We commemorate it every year. And for the first event, there has to be a Sankirtan, and they wanted to sing in Manipuri. I think when the first celebration was done in Ket Khongjam, and so they came to my father. They said, "We don't have a script. We don't know what to sing." And my father wrote this the song, and it's still sung today. I mean, what Khongjam Parba, this Khongjam Day celebration, all the songs, all the rituals, it was all drafted by my father. It is still continued till today. It was done in Manipuri, and I just wanted to that note also. And coming to the other issue is, at those times, you'll be surprised that, as you said, as we discussed in the first few minutes, lots of people used to come at our residence. At those times, the salary was around, I remember, 1,500, 1,600. I mean, it was not enough. So he used to request my uncle who was at my home, and my uncle used to run a small tent house at home. So he used to request my uncle to send money, and my uncle said, "I'm sending my younger brother not to become an MP, but to study MP. He's still a student. I'm still." He said he's not an MP, but he's a student MP. I'm still sending him money. That is the level of income they had. It was financially, I would say he was always in a problem. Uh, and if you remember when he won for the first time in 1971, New Delhi was developing. There were lots of land, there were lots of places, and people were asking me to purchase land. And he said, "I am coming here to help people, to speak on behalf of the people of Manipur. I am not here to buy land." So he
Mm.
didn't purchase even a single land in his life. So
Mm.
he said, I have to work for the I have to do what I have been sent for, and I will not do what I have not been sent for. That is not my duty. And that's the kind of dedication people had at those period of time. And people were not very personal also. For example, nowadays when people become elected, they start saying that, no, I will buy purchases for my son, for my wife. I will make this, I will buy beautiful. I mean, those thinkings were not there. It was a different era, I would say, because people said that those who experienced Second World War, they
Mm.
think at a different level. And
Mm.
then those saw Manipur in Second World War, those saw Manipur during British period, those who saw Manipur devastated during second period, people used to run away. For example, my mother and my maternal grandfather, they all ran away from Manipur to Navadip. People used to run away helter skelter. People who saw those lives. And
Mm.
father said that he had no means to run away, he said. No money. So he basically stepped back in Manipur, and he worked with the British. He helped them
Mm.
in woodwork, doing manual jobs, earning little bit of money. And so he said that is how he picked up his English. Because during the Second World War, lots of Britishers were there. So how he learned English, working with the British officers, and British officers depended on him because he spoke
He
English, and so
translated.
they can. He translated. He said it was a. He said he used to earn money and learn English language also, and financially, I would say there were some people also who helped him out. For example, during election days, for example, at those period, the deposit money was 5,000 for
Mm.
MP Lok Sabha elections. He had no 5,000, but people used to come and give him 5,000, and how they managed. And it was a different age. People used to help everybody out, and and all those people who stayed at our house, and people whom my father helped, they used all come and supported him. That is how people work. I believe human beings are social beings. They are all economically integrated, and if one support each other, and that is basically how our Manipuri civilization worked earlier. So because during our marriage also we give some monetary help, and even in our death ceremony also we give some monetary help, and those are how society support each other. I think the society help him, and that's why he said that society help us, so we should also work for a society.
Hmm. His thinking was very, very different. So when I was doing my research, right, unfortunately, my research may not have been good, but I did not find any footage of his voice or video. So you were referring to, what he spoke in the parliament. Is that archived as text or as voice or video?
We have some videos, we have some audios also, but whatever is archived in Lok Sabha is in written format only. Till today, from now onwards, you can see the visual, because after the arrival of internet,
Yeah.
it is available. During those days, there was no internet, there was no TV. When TV used to start at 7:30 p.m. at those days, and it was black and white times. So it was a different age. So I think, unluckily, we don't have any vocal and video. We only have the print format. We have all the speeches, and all the speeches are wonderful, whether it was in statehood, whether it is in language, about sericulture, agriculture, Loktak project, then environment. Everything was very classic. I mean, everything was done after doing intense research. For example, you'll be surprised that the father and they had started the Maiba Maibi Furuf. Maiba Maibi is, for example, we alternative way of treatment. And so he started the organization, and he's still working today. And even most of the literary organizations, I think he had started it. He had established in Manipur, the Youth Literary Society in Manipur, and most of the literary societies he had started it during his school days. He had led the foundation, and most of it are still working. And those are wonderful things that the organizations which he founded and established are still working now. That is wonderful.
No, that is
Even we
absolutely.
are quite surprised that, yeah, even we are quite surprised that some people came us to attend some functions. They said that this was established by your father, this organization. Now, please attend the function. We sometimes we even don't know the list of organizations he had started, literary, social, cultural, linguistics. It was a wonderful contribution, I would say, within a very short period of time, I would say.
Yes, definitely, definitely. And, just to remind our listener and for myself, he was born on Feb 2nd, 1927, right? So he, we are talking about somebody who was born in 1927 and then continued contributing for a very, very long time. So moving on a little bit to a lighter note, your father's marriage to your mother, was that arranged or it was a love marriage? Just wanted to talk a little bit about his, I guess, personality as a family person.
Oh yes. I mean, it is just like a film, Hindi film story, because my father comes from a very poor background, and my mother comes from a very rich background.
Oh,
And my mother's line is basically her father is Angom King, and Angom King and the Meitei King are my mother's. They are both related. So at those times, whoever used to finish masters, all the eligible bachelors, they were given the kings, the Meitei kings or Angom king's daughter. So
oh,
when my father completed his MA from Guwahati University, so the proposal came, and so the agreement was reached. And my mother said, after marriage, when she came first year, she was just searching for my father's shoes because clothes where they were kept, then to help him organize it better. Then my father said jokingly to my mother that the things which you are searching, you never find because I don't have it. Because the kind of luxury which you have seen, you will not find it here. And that is basically, but my mother's side helped my father quite a lot. My mother is now 94. She's very active,
wow.
and and I would add one more thing is because even polo also, polo, what my mother said that we have a men's polo is very popular in Manipur. Polo is very popular, but there is no women's polo tournament. So my mother decided that every year there should be women's polo team, and this for the third year is still going on. Final will be played tomorrow. Final will be played tomorrow, and so my mother is sponsoring the women's polo tournament. And so my mother is also very active in literary, in sports. She used to play hockey during her school days, and so she's helping in the sports movement in Manipur, and she has lots of contributions also. And she that's better than us, even though she's 94. And when your mother recently produced the book in New Delhi, I fortunately got one of the copies, and I could not read it because my mother took it away from me, and she read your mother's book and said, "Oh my God, so wonderful." And she said, "I wish I can read a brother new books on that." She's still reading. So I would
Oh,
say that it was a sort of an arranged marriage, and she's still fit and ready to read all the works your mother, your family, or the good works your family do.
oh, that's so
she's, 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 she's,
awesome.
she's appreciating the work.
Was in Manipur till my 10th grade. Then after that, I came out. And whenever I do research, I always, want to see how the person looks, how the person talks. And when I don't find footage, right, like even for your father, like it would be awesome if you
Yes,
can share or upload some of his audio or video footage, because I did not find any actually.
yes, yes. Yes, I will,
So
I will, I will, I will do, I will do.
yeah, so it'll be
I will
awesome.
surely.
Then oh yeah, then yeah, so
Yes,
you
I will surely
spoke
do.
about your mom, and you are 3 boys and 4 daughters, right?
Yes, yes. I'm the youngest.
You are the youngest.
Yes, yes,
Out of
yes,
7 children, you are the youngest.
yes. Out of seven. Yes, I'm the
Oh,
youngest.
wow. Okay, so how is he as a father? Like, was he very strict or like just...
No, I think the basic problem was he was so busy that I still remember where I had to take leave from school, but I had to take a special letter has to be written from by my father. So I asked
Hmm.
my father, I don't know if it was in class 8 or 9. I said, please write an application to the principal that I have to take leave. And my father said, to the principal, he said, which school? Then I said, this is so and so school. I said, which class? He didn't know even my school, my class. I mean,
I see.
so because we say, my uncle has also 8 children. My father's elder brother has 8 children. We are 7. So we 15 used to live as people don't know which one is whose son and which one is whose daughter. We live in a joint family. It was very confusing also. So it was a different age, and he had, I think, little time for us, or whatever we go for medical treatment or for school admission, everything my mother did that. And most of the time my father was busy with meeting people and doing so much. I think throughout his life, I think even during his end days also, he died quite young. But till his end days also, for example, the editorials which he wrote in Manipur Mail, he used to narrate. He used to say, we used to type it.
Hmm.
Even during his last days, he used to write the editorials. He was active till the last days, and I hope through this channel people will be inspired, and they will be inspired to, in new words, they will be ignited to work for a better society, and by understanding our ancestors. And we have a tradition in nowadays that forever, whatever wrong, we blame our parents and our forefathers. I think we should stop doing that,
Yes.
and we should start blaming ourselves, because what they did
Yes.
and what we are doing, there's a big difference, I would say.
No, no, that is true. Like I think it is because we don't know. Even I was like that. When I came out of Manipur, and I could not find things about Manipur. I used to think that there is nothing, like when I wanted to learn more about it. But it was because I did not look for it. And then when I started looking up for it, and I started meeting amazing people, and I felt like now I feel like I know nothing, right? And then when I see our, like our elders, like when I met Dr. Jodha Chandra, he was a bridge, right? He translated
Yes,
work of Sri Biren. And I was so inspired, like and he was like the way, like when I worked with him, we didn't have to talk so much. Like he was a person like, okay, we'll do this. Okay, let's do this. It's like just work. and very efficient, no ego. And so I was so amazed to meet like a lot of elders, who just dedicated their life. Like he was a doctor and he just sat and translated, Khambathoibi, right? And it was this big that Angang has. And I was like, wow, how did he do it? And he just did it. And then one day he just called me and he said, oh, we are going to publish something and I know you write some poems. Send me one of your poems. And then he would just, like, he just did work like really quick. And I was very impressed when he so selflessly um, translated the work of Sri Biren, and he was so sad that it could not be published before he passed away, the second part. And that made me think about, wow, like
Awesome.
they
Yes, yes.
they didn't think about themselves. So I think we owe it to them that we also start doing it and bridging it, right? So I think that's how I got a little bit of the inspiration to do little work, the very little work I can contribute through Library of Manipur and Finding the Voices. So it's very inspiring, for you to be sharing about your father. So since your father was so busy with serving, I think Manipur, I think took away a lot of time. But I'm sure you must have had some very touching moments with him, which which has left you inspired, or I don't know where you remember your father the most. Can you share about those moments?
Oh, yes, yes. In fact, I basically learned how to drive because many people were reluctant to go with my father because he used to meet lots of people, and then the discussions, it took long hours, so he had to depend on me. So I basically I was basically the driver. So all those meetings, it was very you'll be quite surprised that some were singers, some were artists, and very far and flung areas. One will be at Kakching, one will be at Taupal, one will be at the different areas. Sekmai. It was a very big good experience, and the one thing which I was amazed was he remembered each and every person, their families, their neighbors, and their brain was, his brain was amazing. And he remembered the roads. He said, no, I used to travel here, in my school days. I still know the roads throughout the length and breadth of Manipur. He knows everything. And the amazing thing is about his geography also. I mean, how the river works. He told me how the river works, river network works. And then, for example, the entire Manipur Valley depends on Kampokpi district because all the rivers, they flow from Kampokpi. And if there is water problem in the Manipur Valley, because now people have started cutting trees in Kampokpi. So that is the basic geography of Manipur, how the ecology of Manipur works. That is basically also he told me all. It basically came through the discussions he had with people. I used to sit beside him, so I used to learn. And I think if anybody has to survive in life, how they struggle also. Basically, he taught us. It was an inspiring, and every phase was a struggle. He said. Because one phase, the struggle in life never ends. Whether it is statehood, then a schedule, then something else, something always crops up. And for example, for a problem in New Delhi, people will understand. But for us, we have to tell them, we have to brief them, because the central leaders, they will never know our problem. We have to tell them. For example, Manipuri language was not in the classical category recently. Assamese was included. Some other languages were included. It is good that they have been included. But the problem is, none of the languages spoken by the Mongoloid people, Indo-Mongoloid people, they are not recognized. And for that, we have to pursue, we have to do that. For example, some of the languages recognized by the government recently, they don't have even speakers now. They were recognized. Pali, Prakrit, speak Pali Prakrit now, but the government recognize it because they know it. But the problem is the center and Manipur, they are so far politically, geographically. So I think it is a struggle for us, and we have to learn that we will not get anything without a struggle, and we have to do that. That is basically what he taught us, what has been conveyed to the masses now, and we have to follow it. We have to continue the struggle, good or bad. Otherwise, we will not get anything out of the sky. Nothing will fall out of the sky. Whatever we have to do, we have to fight for it.
So what I'm hearing, I think, which is again a lot of new things I'm learning today. He was a politician. He did a lot of things beyond politics. But what I'm hearing is it's not that he would go to people, he would travel to like all the places you're saying, Sekmai, Kangpopi, and you used to be the driver. He is like going and searching for people to groom them, to elevate them, to nurture and showcase them.
In fact, the kind of level of interactions he had was quite different. Some would be a politician, some would be, I would say, nobody. He said he's an old friend, I have to meet him. And some of the friends, he will take help. And some of the friends, he will give them what he got from some friends. And those who kind of this, it was a big circle, people who help him and people whom he helped. So it was a big circle, and I think he loved people meeting, getting new information, telling them how life is, and people. Some issues were very petty. For example, people didn't get some certificates. Some had to go for government offices. It was some petty. Some were very big issues like political issues, state issues. Some were very huge. So from very small petty issues to big issues. For example, we used to go. My father used to go to firing site. It was just to help somebody get a spectacle. So just to get him get his eye checked. Some were very petty issues. So it was all mixed up. So sometimes in the earlier days, my cousins and my brothers used to be the driver. But in the later days, I became the driver. I became the driver when he was not in politics. The last 5 years, he didn't go for election. He said, "No, I will rest and I will beat all peoples." When he was around 60 something, he was quite young. He died when he was around 73, 74. So he had started retiring around 1968, 67, 90, sorry, when he was about 68 years of age. So for the last 5 years, he used to meet people, interact with people, and that I think that was quite helpful also. And about the literary work, about the cultural activities, about the linguistic movements, he used to purchase lots of books from Delhi, and he used to give it to all the writers here, and they said you should learn it. And most of the singers also, they used to come to at our residence to learn the words, the meanings also, because my father he spoke most of the languages, Sanskrit, then Hindi, Bengali, English also. He was fluent in many languages, Manipuri also, archaic Manipuri also. He knew 6-7 languages, so he used to help people out in those areas also.
Oh wow, that's awesome. Another thing I wanted to know is about his spiritual life. Like, how was he, with his, I guess, habits and, like things like that?
I think he started life a very through a great struggle. And I think most of the life, I would say that he starts the day around 4 a.m. And basically, he was a book lover. And whenever he went out, he will come back with 2-3 bundles of books. So he had a huge collection of books. So every day he would be spending about, say, 4 to 5 hours with books.
Lot of reading. So he was an avid reader.
Any all sorts of books. So he had a huge collection of books, and he will be so He big, the sort of even during his last days when he could not read, even in the last few days, he called us to read a few books. So we had to sit beside him and read the books. So he loved. He said, if you can't roam, if you can't roam the world, if you are not a good traveler at this age, you can roam the world by looking by reading the books. You can learn new things by reading the books. He was an avid reader, and I think he's very spiritual also, because he used to do lots of prayers also. But he was not superstitious. Superstition was something different, and he was not superstitious, but very spiritual. And yeah, I think he concentrates on the indigenous Meitei and the Vaishnavite. It's a mixture of both the cultures. He lived and he respected both the cultures, all the rituals, and I think he knew all the mantras also, because in Delhi there was shortage of Brahmins in Delhi in the 70s and 80s. So he used to go and perform many rituals. He said, "I'm not a Brahmin, but I know all the rituals," and he used to do. Even the Sankirtan also, he used to perform in many Sankirtans in marriages, in death ceremonies. He used to perform
I
in
heard
Manipur
he
also.
was singing, right?
Yeah, he was not a good singer, but he used to perform. Even Holi also. Holi, we have this several performance also. He used to do that, all the performance also. It was for fun. It was for a spiritual reason. It was good politically also to be connected with people. So I think he was involved in all. I would say a man with different faces, but I think he enjoys living and staying with the people, and most of the time he stayed with the masses, people of the masses, I would say.
Yeah. So what about his eating habit? Like, do you remember anything he liked in particular?
Especially boiled foods. Then especially boiled food he used to love. Then milk, then chapati, curd. He avoids meat, but preferably vegetable goods he loved. But especially boiled foods. He said
Boiled
this
food
boiled
like
foods which we are
kangsoi?
eating in some food. Yeah,
Kangsoi
kangsoi.
champur.
Yes. He said he used to joke that if you go to Europe, if you go to a five-star hotel, this kangsoi, this will be the costliest food. They will give different names to it, and this is the costliest food. And what people of Manipur are eating is the costliest food in the world. It's good for health, and you should go for it. Kangsoi, boiled foods, dal for protein, basically the basic foods, not spicy and all. And
What about his temperament? Like, was he a very calm, cool person, or like, did you ever find him angry or shouting at
no,
people? How was his personality?
people have different temperaments. People become angry also. I think he said if one becomes angry, he said it should be used as a weapon. One should not be angry all the time. It's not good for health, but it should be used for a specific purpose only. In office works, in official works, sometimes angry is good to to make people work faster, to make the things done executed properly. So he said angry should be used for effective purpose, not for damage or health, or not to discard people. It should be used as a weapon, he said. So he knew how to use his emotions, sometimes humorous, angry, but and so so when it needs humorous way to influence people, he used to be humorous, and I would say he was a very good orator.
Yeah, you were talking about his temperament and how he knows how to use his emotion, how, like, when to be humorous, when to be angry, depending on the situation, right? Which is, I think, important.
Oh, yes, yes. And he used to speak for long, long hours. He was a very good orator, and he knew most of the stories by heart. Khambat Thoibi,
Wow.
everything. I mean, if you speak about Chetharu Kumbaba, the Ningthoro Lambuba, any of the books, because he read it all almost by heart. He knew even the chapters also.
Wow.
So I think if you want to anything to know from him, I used to go to him. And if, for example, one of my uncles, Khel Chandra, he's also very he's a legend, a historian. So both of them I used to go for when I was in in a fix. When I didn't know the facts, I used to go bother them. But they knew everything, literature, history, and they would, even if they didn't know, they would refer, go to him, meet him. I think they were bibliographies and they were encyclopedia, I would say, of Manipur. I would say in very
Yeah,
short terms.
yeah, that's awesome. So can you, like, he passed away in 2001.
Yes, yes, May, yes.
Do you want to share a little bit about his end days and?
Oh, yes, yes. In fact, it was very fast because he breathed his last in May. I think just prior to that, few months back, he had a little chest pain, and we thought it was a heart problem. So we took him to Delhi and Mumbai to Tata because they said there were some complications related to it may be some cancer or so. But when we took him to Tata, they said it was in the final stage, we can't do much. So we took him Delhi, but we didn't inform him that he had
Okay.
cancer. He didn't know. He must have realized, even though we didn't inform him, but it was very fast because till no, January, he was very active. But suddenly, he became weak, and within a very short period of 2 3 months, he passed away. It was quite surprising also, and we were shocked. We were not able to understand, to grasp what exactly happened, but it was very, very fast. And I hope his ending, I would say, last days were. It must be hard for him because cancer is very painful. We had to use lots of medicines.
Hmm.
Uh, so those are very hard. Those were very hard days, I would say.
Hmm. Hmm. Yeah, no, I really regret not meeting him, but I was, at least I'm blessed to hear the story firsthand from my father, like when I was a child, So it's so amazing. He's gone, but his legacy is here. And again, I want to request you, for all the books, particularly the ones in English, if we can revive and have it available
Yes, yes.
for the public. Because now is the time, particularly for Manipur. I think we need to remember, we need to know about our history. And I think that would really be helpful in shaping and understanding, each other.
Yes, yes. We'll surely do. Yes, we'll surely do.
Um,
We,
I know that, I don't want you to be too tired, and it's almost going to be 1.5 hours. Is there anything, I know that there are so many things we need to cover about him, but is there anything I haven't asked, but which you would love to talk and share about him?
Manipur is a ethnic society. India is a multi-ethnic society, and whatever we do at your personal level, you do on your own space, but at a different space. You should think for all, and you should work for all, and without any discrimination. Because most of the friends he had, they were basically from the hills, and at those times, most of the friends that had a food at our place, they were mostly Muslims. So I think he said that we should look, beyond religion, beyond caste, and meet all the people. We should break all the barriers because we are basically humans. That is basically what he taught us and what he showed through his actions, and that is basically we imbibe through the ages, and that is what we should do. Otherwise, if we start thinking only of our religion, only of our society, of only our ourselves, then we'll not be able to have respect from others. We should respect others so that people will respect us also. So we should learn how to live in a harmonious, peaceful. That is what exactly what Manipur needs today, I would say. Thank you.
Yes, definitely. And I think he showed in his work, right, like what you're telling, and somewhere we lost that. We became too much into my stuff and little bit forgot how to, live, I guess, together, respecting
Yes,
each other's belief and culture. There is one more last question which I had written. And I think you shared a little bit, but because he wrote so many books, some books you said that he was, narrating it, or he was telling and people were typing, like the Khambathobi. But what about his other books? Like, what was his habit of writing? That was one thing I wanted to know. And then another thing I wanted to know was his interest in painting and art, because that is something I...
They are mostly were published when he was alive, English. Those were typed, he narrated it. But the Manipuri books, it was released after his death.
Yeah.
We found lots of collections because he loved writing, reading and writing. So we found that there were huge collection of works he had written. During his holidays or during the short terms, especially after he stopped contesting elections, he wrote lots of books. We still have lots of books which he had written. So we decided to publish just one or two, because one is a novel and the other is a short story. In Manipur, we don't have much novel nowadays. We have lots of short story collections, but novel is very rare. So we thought Pisumlai should be published because it will be an addition to the rich Manipuri literature. So after his death, we decided, my mother and my sisters, my brothers, they decided that we should have it published. And fortunately, at the time, Dr. Nazma Heptullah was the governor. She agreed to release it at Raj Bhavan. And it was a big function, and I think it was very widely and widely accepted by the people. It is a good addition to the people, and I think we still have lots of works in English and Manipuri, because most of the leisure time he had, he didn't waste it. He used to either write or narrate something.
So he typed it or he wrote it in paper?
We still have the, he wrote it.
Oh, he wrote it in his handwriting.
Yeah, I don't have it now, but his handwriting was so beautiful. Unfortunately I don't have it now. I can show it to you also, some of the text also.
Yes, because I think these are things, when, I don't know, I mean, when I share about what I look and in my research, I'm sure many of our listeners also, would love to. Because really, when when I see footage, right, of voice, of handwriting, about pictures, I think we can archive a little bit of that. So if you would share that, we can put it in our Library of Manipur website.
Yeah, I will just send it. Just after this interview, I will send it within 5 minutes.
Yeah. No, you take your time. Yeah, and then what about his interest in painting and art? I do know that he was interested in, from the Khambathobi work. I know definitely he has a love, but I just wanted to get a sense of what kind of art. Did he have a collection, or, a little bit about that?
Painting, I have not seen father doing any pen works or painting anything, but he had a good collection of historical, then religious paintings, photographs. He loves going to pilgrimages and collecting all the photographs, and he has a art gallery also. He collected lots of artifacts from various places, and he loved rare objects, extremely rare objects, religious things, and we have a collection. We still have a collection of spiritual, special related, really religious related ancient texts, and ancient documents. We still have it, and we are still preserving it. We are still maintaining it. We still have it at home, and religion, book, culture. He was involved in all those spheres, even though he was not physically not involved in sports, because and then in painting, except painting and sports, I have seen him in every field.
That's awesome. Yeah. So thank you so much for sharing a little bit. I would say a little bit, because I think we still have a lot to learn and explore, and being shared by you, right? Wherein you had your first hand interaction at a very close quarter, because it's very difficult to hear. Like, it's another experience to read about a person from a book, but it's really interesting to hear from you. So thank you so much for sharing, and I hope we can collaborate and learn more about
Yes.
your father,
thank you.
and also about Manipur.
Yeah, thank you, Monica.
Yeah, thank you so much, Kurumjari.
Thank you.